Hey everybody. I want to talk about something that's probably been talked about as much or more than anything about bow hunting in general, and it's been talked about by non-bow hunters. It's been talked about with bow hunters, whether you're shooting a compound versus a recurve or a recurve versus a longbow or whatever it is. This has been talked about probably as much as anything there is in hunting in general, and it's ethical shooting distance whenever you're hunting. Uh, I've heard people, and I've also seen comments online and things like that about, well, if you're shooting a longbow, you should, 20 yards is too far, or 30 yards is too far, or whatever. Um, here's the way I look at that, and this is what I tend to live by, because most of the time when you're in the woods and you're bow hunting, you're by yourself. So you have to make an individual decision based on your ability, your confidence level, uh, but you have to be honest with yourself about your confidence. There's a lot of people that are confident, but that can't necessarily execute. Um, for anyone, including me, to say that okay, 40 yards is too far to be shooting at an animal with a longbow. I think that's an overreach. Okay, there are individuals out there that can shoot a longbow with a hunting weight arrow and be extremely efficient, effective, and accurate at 40 yards. Um, I typically, me personally, I typically do a lot of shooting uh, at various targets when I'm walking around with blunts and things like that. And I live, hunting down in South Texas all my life and things like that. Plenty of targets to shoot at, whether it's a cactus or a bird. A dirt clod or a rock or something, a little dirt hill, anything, any little bush, whatever. I tend to shoot at that. And whenever I'm making my videos, I typically talk about steps. I don't. There's for some reason there's this thing, and I don't even know where it started at. It's been around all of my life. They say, well, if you can hit a pie plate at 20 yards, you're ready to go deer hunting. Okay, 20 yards for some reason seems to be the standard, I guess, is the way you want to put it. Most people, they when they talk about it, they say, well, like I said, if you can hit your target at 20 yards, you're good to go. Well, my thought on that is, depending on your equipment, depending on your ability or whatever, uh, yes, you have to have confidence, but you also have to be able to execute. Okay, I have 100% confidence in my ability to hit a target. Okay, now wind blowing, uh, whatever that may affect that it's in some way, but I have pulled up, and Steve Teray and I have hunted together quite a bit, and I regularly shoot at targets that are 50, 60, 70 yards, and beyond, because me personally, I like to see the cast of the arrow. I like to see how my bow performs at long distance. Now, I, I would at a deer, at a game animal or something like that. Uh, I know my ability would not allow me to shoot at a deer at 75 yards. Okay, I know that. I know that in my heart. My goal when I'm in the woods is to get as close as I possibly can to that animal. 10 yards, I love it. And even at 10 yards, when they're shooting at a game animal, it's not 100% a given that you're going to hit exactly where you want, because the animal reacts and everything else that goes along with that. We could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. I would like to, you know, I would like to say that, I have shot hogs and some other animals. Probably one of the best bow shots I ever made in my life was this past year. I shot a hog that was crossing the Sendero, and he was over 50 steps. He was 50 something steps, like 54 steps from where I was standing to where he went in the brush. That's a long ways. Now, going back old times, you know, like Howard Hill and those guys back in those days, according to John Schultz and other people that hunted with him, he regularly pulled off shots that were 50 yards and beyond on game animals. How much you believe that? It's up to you. But the point I'm trying to make here is ethical hunting distance in its simplest form is your individual ability to execute a shot with the accuracy necessary to take the animal. If that's 10 yards or 10 steps, then it's 10 yards or 10 steps, and that's it. Anything past that, you don't take that shot. If it's 20 steps, same thing. If it's 30 steps, if you're accurate and you're effective at 30 steps, then that's the end of your ethical range. Okay, but the key thing to this is for some reason people think that longbows are not effective or efficient enough to kill an animal at 30 or 40 steps. That's just wrong. I can tell you that right now. A 55, 60 pound bow, 70, Steve Teray hunts with an 85 pound bow. I can tell you right now, with the energy stored up in a 650, 700 grain arrow out of a 60 or 70 pound bow at 30 steps is plenty of energy to penetrate that animal and put a mortal wound on him. And the reason why I can say that is because I've actually seen it, I've actually done it, I've actually, witnessed it. Shooting at a deer at 20 yards with a longbow, absolutely deadly. Plenty of penetration, if not a complete pass-through. So the ones that bother me a little bit are the ones with these compounds that they're shooting out there at 50, 60 yards or whatever, and they're shooting these 350, 400 grain arrows. Those are the ones that kind of bother me a little bit. The arrow weight is not quite there. They may be able to hit a target at 50 or 60 yards or 70 yards with that little arrow, but with something that light, I have to worry about the lack of penetration and things like that it actually takes to kill an animal. Now, I talked about that in a video that I made about a year ago. I saw 2 hunting shows on television back to back where 2 mature buck deer were wounded by compound shooters shooting these little lightweight arrows with these expandable broadheads, hitting animals dead right on the shoulder and not killing the animal. Now, and they were within probably 25 steps or so. So again, being ethical means, yes, you have to have confidence, but more importantly, you have to be able to execute that shot. If you can't, or there's a doubt in your mind, then you should never take that shot. So I just wanted to pass that along, and to some of the newer bow hunters, and even some people that are kind of stuck in the past a little bit or whatever, or they've never even shot longbows or recurves, and they have an opinion based on information or some other people's opinions or whatever. But longbows are absolutely deadly with the correct arrow, with a hunting weight arrow at 20 steps or 30 or 40 steps. The key is you being able to execute that shot and make it happen. So I hope that I'm just expressing my opinion here, and I hope that you take away from this. Be ethical, be confident, but be ethical. And being ethical means being able to actually do what you say you can do. Again, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos, and I'm hoping be glad to keep sharing. And as long as you guys are enjoying these videos, get down in the comments if you have any questions, or comment about the video, the content itself. But anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one.